Number of crises now started from Libya, which is so actual here, or in Syria. So what do you think of this?
Yeah, that is exactly what's the problem. That we do not have. Why it is so difficult to establish a benchmarking, as you were asking? It's very simple, because in order to establish a benchmarking, you must have a policy. And we do not have a policy towards Russia. I don't mean that we do not have an agreed policy towards Russia. We are going step by step. There are various different approaches. If you look what is, for instance, about the discussion about Russia was now going on in the United States, there are various schools. There are at least two main schools. One, it is clear, they all agree on the fact that the two main rivals of the United States are China and Russia. The problem is what to do. And there is the school who says, well, China is a rival, but after all, it's a long-term rival, not immediately, and after all, it tends to go for not full respect, but nonetheless is relatively respectful of international order, international law, while Russia is more rogue in its action. So we should concentrate against Russia and go on that way, and then think of China as the more long-term objective. There are others who say to the contrary, they may be true or not. The problem is that our main rival is China. If we concentrate on Russia, we simply strengthen the links between China and Russia, while we have to try to cut the links between China. So we have to reconquer Russia in a way. On our side, that means we have to give them concessions where maybe we can negotiate something, but practically we have to buy back Russia in order not to have a situation in which China and Russia are together, which may be risky for all. Now, these are quite different positions, after all, in the same country. If the present president will be re-elected, I suppose that the second position will get more strong, will be strengthened. And so at that point, the sanctions are now on Russia. Instead of being reinforced, they may be forgotten. It is true that in the American case in particular, the constitutional process of establishing sanctions is more complex than simply the will of the president. We have to take into account also the Congress, and the Congress, even after the next election might be different, and maybe after the next election will be more different. And so the situation might be not so easy for a president who wants to eliminate the sanctions. But nonetheless, the will of the president remains the will of the president in the United States. And so the situation might become rather difficult. The effectiveness of sanctions, as you already said, is very difficult to establish. In the past, we have had some situation in which countries which had been sanctioned have changed policy.
One.
But, South Africa. Libya. Well, renounced theoretically renounced the nuclear weapons.
But South Africa was very clear.
Yeah, but were the sanctions or were the changing?
Exactly.
So it's a different. And anyway, in both cases, and even in the case of the JCPOA with Iran, when Iran, no one was losing completely face because all countries, South Africa for domestic reason, complete change, so they could do it. Gaddafi could say, well, I didn't have, and anyway, so I renounced something and everything worked. Iran was renouncing something that theoretically had always said that he didn't want, and he was respecting already, was continuing respecting the Treaty on Non-Proliferation. In the case of Russia, if Russia should abandon the Donbass, okay, maybe there could be some negotiation, but give back Crimea, that's a big loss of face, very big. That may go up to a change of regime in Russia. I don't know, but I mean, it may threaten the credibility of the present regime. In that case, are sanctions enough? And what do? We simply stay there and say, you are bad men, and we continue to punish you because you are. And that may become a very big political point. Because you will have more and more people who say we are not there to give lessons, but we are here to make policy and to try to make the system work. So it's a kind of it is true that renouncing sanctions is also difficult, because renouncing sanctions without having had anything means also loss of face on our side. So it is apart from other consequences, and also declaring that way practically that sanctions are not effective. But that means a real worsening of the international situation, because that means that the only effective thing is military intervention, which seems to be rather risky, honestly speaking. And so I agree that we are in a situation that is not easy. I think I agree with your suggestions that the sanctions should be more coordinated, more logical. We should be ready to graduate the sanctions according to the diplomatic negotiations, but in a much more clear way. And so that some benchmarking should be established. I agree completely. We are in a political situation in which to establish a common benchmarking between the United States and Europe on Russia might become very, very difficult.